Black coffee or blackie? Let's take a look at the sixth in the series of ways to get into blackie. Today we are going to discuss IIM Indore. If you have so far not gone through the previous ones, Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta, Lucknow and Kozhikode, I would recommend that you go through those videos. It has a lot of information, wonderful one. It can really help you find your specific way to get into these premier IIMs. Let's now start with IIM Indore. We'll take a look at the courses offered, the eligibility and various other things.
To book a free one-on-one MBA counseling online or at any IMS center, check out the link in the description box or the pinned comment below.
IIM Indore is a wonderful college. In fact, I would say that it offers two flagship programs and both are quite different. Let's start with the very first one, which is PGP MBA, which is the same case for every single IIM. But here, there is a change. People who have gotten really good score in 10th and 12th class, and they have gotten a really good score in CAT, but if they do not have a lot of work experience, if their graduation has not been really good, they would be very happy because there is a strong chance that you might get a call from IIM Indore. Similarly, the same course is frowned upon, or rather I would say loathed by people who were not able to score really well in 10th and 12th class because it is quite academic focus, school academics. The basics are 39% of the weightage is given to 10th class. Then 20% weightage is given to 12th class, which means a total of what? 60% is just your school, followed by 35% CAT. If you have work experience or not, if you have a great score in graduation or not, as long as you clear the bare minimum eligibility requirement marks of graduation, you are okay. And in fact, that really doesn't give you any edge when we talk about the first shortlist. Wonderful, right? I also did not get a call from IIM Indore because my 10th and 12th academics were not as high as they demand. Second is the flow. Flow is simple. Apply, test, shortlist, PI and final. Again, in case of PI, they really want to see your holistic profile. Holistic profile means holistic profile, but still, I have realized that if you have scored well in CAT and if you have gotten 10th and 12th score as good, and if you have done moderately well in PI, then you get in, which is a wonderful thing. The exam for Indians, it is CAT. Now, if you are an international applicant, then you don't even need to give your 10th and 12th class score. Forget about graduation anyway. You just have to go through GMAT. But your GMAT should not be more than 1 year old. You have to submit one statement of purpose. You have to submit 3 references, letter of recommendations. And if your medium of instruction has not been English in your school, then you will also have to take TOEFL. There are supernumerary seats only, which are 50 in number. So if you are an international applicant, definitely something you can try. Wonderful, wonderful course. No worries about that. The second flagship course we are going to talk about a little later. Let me first talk about the executive one. This is also a very interesting course offered by IIM Indore. EPGP. Again for moderately experienced people. Although I have written moderately experienced, but I would say that slightly more experienced because minimum 5 years of work experience is required. Now, when I say minimum, the actual cohort, of course, will have more number of years in their profession. So, yeah, if you are one of those, definitely you can try that. Good return on investment. It doesn't require your 10th and 12th class score. There are 2 rounds, just like every executive round. There are multiple rounds. In this case, there are 2. One is in November, one is in January. At any time you can apply. Recommended is that you apply at the earliest because the competition is not as high and the seats are more. 45% of the weightage is given to the test score, which is a good thing, right? So if you have work experience and you also have good test score, your job is done. There is a good chance you will secure a shortlist. And once you do that, you will have to sit for PI and then you will secure the final list. If I talk about profile, it has to be balanced. Again, I have written academic plus non-academic plus work experience. So in case of academic, it is not like that they will see your 10th and 12th score, but not for the score consideration, but they would just like to assess how well you have done academically in your college also. And that's all. Major focus again will be on the non-academic portion, specifically your work experience. How can you get into that? GMAT or GRE, this is one way. The exam is valid for 5 years And if you want to go through CAT, then the score is valid for 2 years. So whatever you want to decide, you can check that. Then let's talk about HRM. First of all, you need to understand that human resources management is not a Rangoli program. It is quite intense, and not just the program, but the career also. HRM people do the industry benchmarking of the pays that are offered. They also take care of how your learning and competence development happens in terms of the tech that they have to employ, plus the ecosystem, which should rather be fostering your learning. They also think about how they can keep the best talent, how they can retain the best talent, and so forth. So a lot of things are required, quite technical in nature, quite analytical in nature. So just because you think you can articulate well, so you should get into HR, that would not be a good idea. But yes, if this is something which is your passion, it's a wonderful stream to get into. And just like, your XLRI or Tata Institute of Social Sciences, which are considered like the prime programs for HRM, this is also one of the prime programs of HRM in India. And that is why this is a flagship program. Among the IIMs, among the top 6 IIMs, this is the only one which offers a dedicated HRM program as a flagship one. If I talk about the basics, again, they focus heavily on 10th and 12th class, to almost 45% of the weightage in totality. Gender and academic diversity is taken care of both in the shortlist round and the final round, which is not the case with many of the other Blackie IIMs. Work experience is also considered, but only for the first shortlist, but it is not considered in the final list. Which means if you have done well in PI, that's okay. Then work experience will not be the criteria for them to reject you. If 2 people are on more or less the same pedestal, maybe they will find some other criteria. The flow is the same. The profile should be balanced, which is quite understood. And the exam that you can take is CAT. Now, no information about how international applicants can apply to this program was given on the website. So I don't want to just give you a hearsay. But if you want to know more about that, definitely comment. I would rather query that, and then whatever response they give me, I'm going to share that with you. And I'll also talk about various other people. But again, I will not be giving you any hearsay unless I have a well-documented information on that. At this time, it was not given, so I have not included it. Of course, you can also check that out, but it's totally on you. A wonderful program, worthy of consideration. And then, this is called the 5-year UG program. This is for undergraduate ones. Oh, there is 7 written. Don't worry about that 7. Must be a typo. The 5-year UG program, which is called Integrated Program in Management. IIM Indore was the first college among the IIMs, or I would say among the top colleges in the country that started this program, I think in 2011. That you get into IIM immediately after 12th and you exit there with a PG in hand. So they give you a BBA plus MBA for 5 years. Wonderful, no? And then many IIMs followed suit. Nowadays, many IIMs are offering IP programs, IP-MAT programs, IPM programs. Some of the IIMs use the same score, which is conducted by this IIM Indore, and some of them have their own exam. Anyway, so the interesting part about this is that it gives you an option to exit after 3 years of BBA. So many people think that, okay, once my 3 years of BBA is completed, I will take CAT, and if I get the opportunity to get into, let's say, ABC, then I would get out of here and I will go there. Otherwise, my future is more or less secured. So either way, it is a wonderful thing, quite competitive. The exam is also challenging, and the PI is also challenging. So if you are somebody who is interested in doing management and you already know that in your school, something you must definitely consider. Wonderful, wonderful. It has a high weightage of the IP-MAT exam score, so you really have to do well in that. It's not just that if you have done well in 10th and 12th class, then you will get the call from that. The flow is very simple. Application, exam, shortlist. Yes, there will be PI, and then the final list. Profile should be quite balanced. That's, a give. And if you are an Indian, you will have to take the IP-MAT exam, and if you are an international candidate, then they take the SAT score. But your SAT score again should not be more than 18 months old. That means 1.5-year-old SAT score is enough. For more details, definitely comment, and we would be very happy to help you out. So if you are interested in UG or PG programs at IIM Indore, reach out. I would be happy to help you. You should never miss a chance to be part of any of the black key colleges. And if you can get into them, why not? Once again, if you have not gone through the other in our playlist, definitely check out the entire BLACK. And this was I. All the very best for you.